Well, every summer, Guthrie's Oklahoma legacy is celebrated around his July birthday in his hometown of Okemah. It's a small town music festival, but one that brings in musicians and fans from around the globe. Once again, here's our Keela Kellen.
It's a sound that Woody Guthrie would be proud of. From a son paying tribute to his father, to musicians of all generations and genres. Every July, Okemah becomes a hotbed of folk music.
Okemah is everybody's hometown. It's just a really nice community with really wonderful people here. A lot of hardworking people, successful people.
Woody Guthrie kind of people.
Woody Guthrie kind of people. Well, of course, Woody was a child of the Oklahoma Dust Bowl and the Oklahoma, or the nationwide depression. And he was, you'd have to say he was from the poor side of the tracks.
And so were we.
And so were we. And Woody made the Grapes of Wrath trips out to California, and listened to my father talk back in those years. You begin to realize that the Grapes of Wrath wasn't one migration. It was something that people did almost every year or every couple of years. They'd go out to California and make enough money and come back and live here till the money was gone, and then to go back and make some more money.
When he was a baby, stepping down on his mammy's knee.
And in doing so, the young Woody Guthrie became the voice of those less fortunate cast to the fringes of society.
That'll be the death of me.
Now, Woody was on the side of the working people. And of course, the 30s and 40s was a real conflict time between the unions and the industrialized society and big money people. And Woody was never on the big money side. He was on the poor guy's side.
I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Guthrie's birth is celebrated in his hometown of Okemah, where each summer families and entertainers gather together for events to help keep the memory and traditions of the folk legend alive.
Oh, I ain't gonna study war no more.
David Arman traveled all the way from New York.
He was always conscious of people who were hurting. Some of his great songs and a lot of his activity was to try to help out people who had no voice, who were in need, who were hurting, but not at the expense of demonizing those who had something, but rather celebrating all of us being together. When he said, "This land is your land," it was meant for you and me, he meant that literally, that all of us should be part of the blessings that we have here in this beautiful place of ours.
The love of music. That's why everybody comes here.
A love so fine, everybody wants just a piece of mind. That's the same old thing. It's a song you gotta sing early in the morning and the ding dong rings.
And it is, you know, and it's the love of music and love of Woody Guthrie, and you know, because everybody that comes here knows what a seminal figure he was in American music. It's as important as anybody ever has been.
And for these musicians, it's not just the music that sounds familiar, it's the message of their songs that would make Woody Guthrie proud. Terry Ware is from Norman, Oklahoma.
I mean, there's still people that are hungry, there's still people that are exploited, you know, workers that are exploited or taken advantage of or not represented like they deserve to be represented. Because, well, there's greed still around, so as long as there's greed in the world, there's gonna be those issues are gonna exist. And there's always gonna be people, I think, that write songs about it.
I walk alone along this highway with friends who gather.
Arlo Guthrie, son of Woody Guthrie, comes each year to help celebrate and show respect to his father's legacy.
Over, the howling winds will cease to be. I walk with friends from every nation on freedom's highway in times like these.
An event that honors not only a life and a legend, but most importantly, strives to keep the music playing.
Now, this year's festival runs from July 10th through the 14th.